Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Emma in elementary and I'm so excited for us to dive into how to parent relationships today. We talk a lot about relationship building with students, but it is just as important to talk about relationship building with their parents. These parents are trusting us with their child 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 9 to 10 months a year. And it's important that they know who we are and not just surface level. In this video, I'm going to show you the ways that I work on building parent relationships before it's even time for the school year to begin, and how I keep up with them consistently throughout the year. And then I'm also going to give you some tips for communicating with them throughout the year. Let's dive in. First, you want to know how you will be in communication with parents throughout the year. It could very well be every day that you need to contact a parent or that they need to contact you, and you need that to be easy and quick for both parties involved. I use ClassDojo, which is also a great classroom management tool that I love. Talking Points is great if you have lots of parents that do not speak English as their first language or at all, because it automatically translates messages for you in their home language. However, I have noticed that ClassDojo does have this feature as well, so it's up to you if you would like to do both. A wonderful colleague of mine gave me some great advice my first year, which was to send photos of a parent's child during the first week of school. I 100% recommend doing this. I have mine hold up a sign that says first day of fourth grade, which you can find for any grade level on my TPT, M&LMN, link in the description. And then I also like to send group pictures. Just be careful of which students are allowed to be photographed in groups before you start sharing them with other parents. I also like to send an email to my parents as soon as I know them before back to school night, because I want to introduce myself and invite them to join our ClassDojo immediately. And that way, when they do come for back to school night, chances are they've already read that message from me and have a little introduction. Speaking of back to school night, that is your chance to make a great first impression and welcome parents into their child's new classroom. I display this Meet the Teacher poster at my sign-in station, which is a bundle that you can also get on my TPT, so that parents can read about myself, including my education, values in the classroom, fun facts, how to contact me as well. You will spend so much time setting up your classroom and making sure that it looks good, which is important. But you also need to make sure that you are ready to welcome them and answer any questions that they might have. I remember my first back to school night, I had a parent ask me about homework for the year, which was something that I hadn't thought too much about. So I was kind of stumped and didn't quite know what to say, so I had to kind of wing it. Don't overthink meeting parents. Just be honest and be yourself. Like, that's how you're going to be with our children every day anyway. And you want to be the same. You don't want to switch it up. This is something else that I put on display at back to school night, which is also available on my TPT. The Handle with Care note gives parents a chance to quickly let me know that their child might have had a difficult night, morning, or weekend, or break even. They don't need to provide any more information. And this way, I'm prepared for their child perhaps being moody or having a hard time that day. And parents are really appreciative of teachers that truly care about their children's mental health and well-being. And this is something that I saw on Pinterest, so I made my own version of it, as you can see. And this is just really special to me, and I know that it's special to them as well. This is a letter that I sent home on the first day of school to give more of an introduction, especially for any families that were unable to come to back to school night. I do this to establish a welcoming environment for open communication and to lay out my expectations for students during the school year. When parents know your expectations at the start of the year as well as your students, it can be an extra push for them to do well in your classroom. Don't sugarcoat it either. I tell my parents that fourth grade expectations are high and that I hold each student to those high expectations. You don't want to come across intimidating and scary, but it is important that you set boundaries from the get-go. Explain that you will be working together with the parents for their child's success, but it does take a village, so you need to establish that in the beginning. And as you can see, I also have one in Spanish because it just so happens that my school has a fairly large MLL population. So I print this out front and back just in case. These student information surveys are something that I also like to send home on the first day of school for parents to fill out. This information comes handy at all times of the year. You will be surprised. I remember pulling my file folder out and flipping through these surveys all the way through the very end of the school year, my first year. Like, you will really be looking forward to having this information. You can download this for free on my TPT, and again, that link is in the description. And I also have file tabs that you can purchase on my TPT to organize all of your important documents, including these surveys. Now that you have kind of learned about establishing your relationship before the school year starts, we're going to talk about how to stay in contact with parents and setting some boundaries throughout the whole school year. This is my class calendar that I create on Google Docs and send out monthly on Class Dojo for my parents to see important dates, tests, school events, due dates, and things like that. You can also find a cute Canva template for this, but the reason that I create mine on Google Docs is so that I can update it and make changes as needed, which will happen every month. You never know what changes are going to occur. So just be careful with that if you choose to do like a cuter Canva template. This is the easiest way for parents to see what's going on in our classroom, in our school, and it can be changed in seconds if I need it to be. I noticed during my first year that sending out weekly reminders to parents that asked for specific information, like, hey, what tests do we have this week? It was getting to be too much for me. So my colleague told me about how she does her own class calendar, so naturally I had to steal the idea from her. And this is a great thing. I highly recommend it. I also like to send out monthly newsletters on Class Dojo. I used to print these off and send one home in everyone's folder, but I realized that I was quickly running out of copies, which will happen, so be prepared for that. And that it's not worth it, knowing that unfortunately not every parent will actually take the time to read through these. So now I just post them on Class Dojo. One of my past mentors, who is an absolutely amazing teacher in person, told me that it's important to keep your newsletters pretty vague. Do not put anything with certainty in your newsletters because everything is honestly subject to change. Parents will expect you to do what you say you will, and you should do what you say you will. So don't list specific, detailed plans for the month. You never know what will happen. This goes along with the class calendar. This is why I make mine on Google Docs, so I can change it if I need to. I just include the topics of what we will be learning in each subject for the month, any important reminders, dates, and the quickest ways to contact me. If you want to send out a weekly newsletter, that's fine, but in my personal, professional opinion, I think that that would take up a little bit too much time. But I've also seen teams that make a newsletter together and they kind of collaborate and create one for the grade level, so maybe that's something you could talk to your team about. Now, if you watched my How to First Days of School video, you have already seen both of these resources. But this is a way that I communicate behaviors with parents, as well as sending messages on Class Dojo. The happy mail and then the think sheet. Remember that it is just as important to praise good behavior as it is to address negative behavior in your classroom. And this think sheet that I created is available on my TPT for you. Finally, let's talk about some boundaries when it comes to parent relationships. This is something I 100% needed to know before my first year, but I know it now, so I'm going to share it with you. It is important that you have clear boundaries set with your parents. They are not your friends, and you do not need to respond to them immediately. If you use Class Dojo, make sure that you enable quiet hours, which means that you will not receive notifications from the app during the evening and night or during weekends. And parents will know this, that you have quiet hours, so they know you might not be seeing their messages right away. You are not responsible for communicating with parents outside of your contract hours. You are also not responsible for communicating with them at all times during the school day. You have a job to do, and it does not rely on them. It relies on the students, so you need to be present with them. Class Dojo will always be there before school, during planning, or after school. I also would not recommend giving out your phone number to parents. There are parents that blow up a teacher's phone. It happens. And you don't want that coming directly to your number, nor do you want them calling your personal phone at any given moment. I have a colleague that uses a Google number to communicate with her parents if that's something that you want to look into. Sometimes a parent may contact you at 6 p.m. on a Friday. They can wait until Monday morning for a response. I promise. If you are communicating with a parent that is giving you a rough time, don't give in to it. If they are starting to get aggressive, you can end the conversation or simply not respond to them. Let your principal know and go from there. It is absolutely not worth it. Now that is all I have for you in this video. I hope this was really helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.